Hello, YouTube peeps. Well, my friends and Christian brothers and sisters. I just thought I'd hop on here for a minute because, um, number one, I don't have a whole lot of breath today, so I'm going to try to keep this as short as I can. But the reason I'm on here is because I had a dream this morning, and I wasn't going to say anything about it because I normally don't unless I feel like it is directly from the Lord or I feel like I'm supposed to. But when I woke up, I had some silly not conversations, but confirmations. And then when I saw Holly's video today, hope I didn't have that microphone covered. I'm trying to hold this up so. I'm sorry. And then when I saw her video from today, and it just kind of clicked with what I dreamed. So I thought, well, I'll just give them what I feel like I got, and I will update when I have, more or better confirmations. So here's what happened. I fell back to sleep around 10:30ish, and not having a lot to do, I do take little cat naps through the days, especially if I'm not feeling well. But I ain't going to speak that into my life. Anyway, I better not go down a rabbit trail because I don't want to run out of time. Anyway, so it was a weird dream, and I always dream that I'm in these houses that are sometimes different, but lately I've been dreaming about the same big old house, 2-story, cozy country type house, and sometimes it's decorated, sometimes it's not. In this instance, it was decorated, and it was very lovely, homey country feeling, cozy, that I would love in real life. So in this dream, I was well, first, let me say my ex-husband was in my dream, and I dream about him a lot, but he's been gone for 3 or 4 years. But we were still friends. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So he comes in my dreams a lot of times. I think, like Holly, 2 Moons, says her husband represents Jesus, her Savior and King. So I feel like that's why it always seems like that's where it leads. So I knew he was leaving, and he was going to be gone for about 3 days, I want to say, but I wasn't sure what time he would return. So I thought that was odd. So he left, and then I had a feeling, and there's so much detail to the wallpaper and everything in this house. The screen door, it was like one of those heavy metal ones that was, not like a security door, but the mesh was heavy. It wasn't like these little cheap things you can put your finger right through, like tissue paper. So it had and that's another thing, that green that you see associated a lot, like with jadeite dishes and during the Depression era, if you know what that is. And old country people use this green a lot. Well, my grandparents did. They had cane seat chairs in this green. It's like it's not really a pastel, like an apple green, maybe you'd say. And so you see that a lot in country folks' homes, the older folks' homes. So that is a color I love. And my house was painted, the trim was painted on the inside in this green. And the wallpaper was like a beige, not beige, more on a yellowish tone with little columns, little pretty little flowers. And so it was very homey and cozy and well lit. So I am standing at that screen door, and I'm expecting a group of young people to come along. It wasn't told me, hey, these people are coming to destroy your home. But I knew in my spirit, it's like I was discerning it in my spirit, that there was a group of younger people. I would say from late teens, mid-teens on up to 21-ish maybe. And I knew there was a group of them, and they weren't out for good purposes. Let's put it that way. So I felt them coming, and I was worried. And so I was watching and waiting for them to come, because I knew they were coming to not steal my house, but destroy my home, my beautiful home. So then, and this was daylight, then I was sitting in a rocking chair, by my fireplace with my back to the door. Well, there was a big window to my back with a couch in front of it. And then, you know how rooms are built with the open doorway, and then you step around the corner and there's the foyer, I guess you'd call it. Well, that's the way it was. So my back was to the door, and it was to my left, and the big picture window behind me. And it was nighttime all of a sudden. So I was sitting here pondering, wondering when Robert would come home. That's my ex. But I guess in this dream we weren't exes. We were living together. So it seems like it's always that way when I dream about him. So anyway, I'm sitting there pondering this, and all of a sudden I heard my screen door open, and I'm like, uh-oh, here it comes. Well, there's this big dog came in, and I knew that 2 or 3 seconds behind that big dog would be a human come in. And the dog was a big white shaggy dog with brown and tan markings and a little black in there. And you know how a dog gets when it's happy to see you, with that little grin on its face. So it stopped next to my chair, not exactly pointing at it, but not away from it. It wasn't right beside it. It was like angled in a little bit towards me. And so it's like it's happy to see me. And I'm like, oh, But I knew somebody'd be right in, and they were. Then I heard the screen door open again, and I heard footsteps, and I turned and saw this big, tall Indian man walk in. When I say Indian, I mean Native American. And he was tall and skinny. He was wearing blue jeans and boots of some kind, and a black slicker, like rain slicker or rain jacket maybe, or a windbreaker, something like that. And he had on a black hat, and he had long black hair down his back, which he had pulled back with a rubber band. And so he walked up to the dog, stopped right at the dog, and looked at me and said, where is that man? And I knew he was talking about Robert. And I said, he's not here, but I can give him a message. I'm not sure when he'll be back, but I can give him a message. And he just stopped, turned his head towards the ceiling, like he was looking off, like he thought maybe he might be upstairs. And he was just like he was pondering it, thinking it over, contemplating it. Well, you know how you look off when you're trying to focus on something. But he stopped, and the dog stopped. And they were just like when a clock runs down and it's there, but it's not ticking. And then it's like they were in suspended animation. And, I'm like, is this new? So I'm wondering about, what's coming next. I was waiting for the young people to come and destroy my home. And I woke up. So something woke me up. I'm not sure what it was. Could have been a number of things. So the first thing I see when I wake up, and I'm thinking, oh, that's so silly. That's must just be where I'm hungry because I hadn't broke my fast yet. And I look at the TV, which, it's most the time it's on, and it has that Roku City screensaver. If you all know what I'm talking about, I'm sure most of you do. And the first thing I saw was a billboard that said, "In your dreams." I thought, okay. And so I just stopped and looked at it. And the next one came up, said, "Kids and family." And I'm like, what in the world? And then the next billboard said, "Armchair sleuths are welcome." So I felt like the Lord was inviting me to try to, figure out what he was trying to say through this dream. And I do believe it was from the Lord because, it was so vivid, the detail, the color, the light. It was just all so amazing. So, okay, I'm thinking kids and family in my dreams. Were there any kids there? And I thought, there was. Okay, and one of my favorite programs, because it's so clean and full of fun and has such a good, what would you call it? Moral compass, I guess, about it. That's not the right word. Anyway, it's just a good show with good messages. And that's Leave It to Beaver. So I don't know if you all never watched that. I bet a whole bunch of you have. But in case you haven't, it is about the Cleaver family, Ward and June, and their two sons, Wally and Beaver, whose name is Theodore, but his nickname is Beaver because Wally couldn't pronounce Theodore when he was young. So I was thinking, oh yeah, Wally was there. Wally, for some reason, was in my dream. And he said something to me, but I don't remember what it was. But I was aware he was there. So I said, okay, so Wallace. What does the name Wallace mean? So I went and researched it, and it means stranger and foreigner. It means stranger and foreigner for the most part. I said, oh, yeah, well, that definitely could pertain to things. And then I thought, what else? Beaver wasn't here, but suppose it wasn't about Wally, but about beaver, about the word beaver. So I looked up the word beaver, and of course there was the usual thing about it being an animal that builds dams. And it has other meanings too, but like a person that is industrious and so on and so forth. Like a busy bee, which is what I always called my youngest daughter. But anyway, no rabbit trails, don't have time. Um, so I thought, what if it's about the beaver dam? So I looked up the beaver dam, and the most famous one, of course, is in Missouri. But there are various beaver dams across over here on the eastern side of the United States where I live. Ohio, Kentucky, I think it said Illinois, and to the other places. I don't remember them all. But the main one is the Beaver Dam, which of course is quite well known for whatever. Anyway, I thought, uh-oh, is there going to be a flood or some major catastrophe? Is God warning me about that? And I thought, I don't know. So I just had that, simmering there on the stove. And I got to thinking about, on the back burner that is, what do I know thus far? Okay. I was waiting for people to come and destroy my lovely home. I was at the door and it was daylight. I sit down next to my fireplace and it's dark. I had a message from Wally about beaver or something. And it all seems like nonsense when I speak it out, but then I had a visitor from an American Indian visitor. That could be my Cherokee heritage coming through, I don't know. And a dog, a friendly dog, and they got suspended in time. And there's still bits and pieces, like I remember seeing taillights in the dark on an old pickup truck. There's bits and pieces that's still coming to my memory. And I'm still asking the Lord for discernment and what it all means, which I'm not sure. Could be nothing. It could just be where I was hungry. Or it could have something to do with, 3 days of darkness and waiting on the Master to come and get us. Waiting on, I thought in my dream that Robert would be back in 3 days, but I didn't know what time he would be back. So it's all jumbled in my mind, and but after seeing Holly Two Moon's video about the 3 days of darkness, I just thought maybe, it had something to do with that. I don't know. I just wanted to put it out here, and I miss you guys, and I don't make many videos anymore, so if I think of anything, I'll be back. If I think of anything else. And if God shows you anything, please take it to prayer. And if God shows you anything, let me know. And I just wanted to let you know that I'm still praying for all of you, and I love you, and I enjoy watching some of your videos, like Debbie. I enjoy your videos very much. And all my brothers and sisters in Christ, I love you, and I'm going to get off here before I'm cut off. and pray for me, and I'll keep praying for you. Shout out to Crystal out there in Montana. Love you, girl. Until next time, bye for now.